With Fuyuko now dead, the heavily armed Ryuji, who is one of Metropoliman's henchmen, tries attacking Mirai and Saki. The battle is short-lived as Ryuji is easily defeated. Metropoliman is angered by how his plans have failed. He ridicules his fallen comrades, calling them weak and cowardly. He decides to challenge Mirai to a one-on-one duel with no outside help. Both of them prepare to fight, Mirai still not willing to take a life, even of his enemies. Metropoliman starts to fire a barrage of arrows at Mirai, who has to deflect as fast as he can. The battle is intense and they are almost evenly matched. Metropoliman reflects on his life and goals while in combat. He truly believes that he is above other people and this power is something he deserves. Both Mirai and Metropoliman don't notice that their entire battle is being live-streamed all over Japan and maybe the world. Random citizens are witnesses to Metropoliman battling this unknown masked man. Mirai doesn't want to give up on himself as well as his beliefs. He refuses to kill Metropoliman, so he only shoots red arrows while Metropoliman fires off white arrows. The duel is slowly coming to an end as Metropoliman and Mirai are both starting to lose their strength. Mirai decides it is time to change tactics, so he flies directly at Metropoliman using his fast speed. He manages to restrain Metropoliman's arm and then he blinds him with his angel wings. Seeing this unfold, Saki decides to join in the battle and she restrains Metropoliman so he cannot move. In the distance, Metropoliman notices that the young masked boy who was his ally decided to abandon him. The masked boy also has angel wings. Nanato is now slowly dying and has barely any strength left. Still, for his wife and daughter, he manages to move to Ryuji's heavy assault machine gun. Kanade for the first time feels real fear. No allies and completely overpowered. He becomes emotional and starts to beg Mirai to let him go. He mentions his sister called Ria and how he just wanted to be with her. When that doesn't work, he tries offering a large sum of money to Mirai and Saki to set him free. Nanato slowly moves towards his target, no forgiveness in his eye. He is a man on a mission and this is the last step to protecting his family. He also refuses to listen to Yurei's begging for mercy and decides to end things once and for all. While Mirai still doesn't want to break his no-killing rule, helping keep Metropoliman restrained is the least he can do. Nanato Mukedo has trouble pressing the trigger as he is weak, but he manages to activate the giant gun and starts firing full blast at Yurei Kanade. Because of his powers of slowing down time, Yurei feels every single bullet slowly enter his body, the pain being out of this world. Nanato does not stop firing until the gun is empty. Finally, Metropoliman is no more. He has been obliterated and his angel Meza collects his soul. She is disappointed in Yurei failing to accomplish the goal of becoming God. After the battle is done, Mirai notices that Yurei was also shot and controlled by a red arrow. He still doesn't know who it was. Nanato is hospitalized from his injuries as well as from his illness. His wife and daughter say goodbye to him and he peacefully passes away, being remembered as a hero who sacrificed everything for his family. The masked boy who shot Yurei with the red arrow unmasks himself in front of national news stations, revealing his identity as Suzumu Yuito. He is a careless kid who just wants to have fun and wants everyone to have a white arrow. While everybody is watching the broadcast, Suzumu reveals his powers as well as the existence of God and angels. He reveals that there are God candidates and they are all over the world. As this is being broadcast worldwide, it catches the attention of the Metropolitan Police Department as well as other agencies all around the world. Suzumu also nominates Mirai to be the next god. Mirai and Saki decide that maybe now they can try to find the other god candidates in a peaceful manner. Meanwhile, the MPD is searching for them to make them their soldiers, and American assassins are moving in to eliminate Suzumu as they see him as a grave threat. Suzumu continues to reveal the selection process for the new god, and because of this, people all around the world start searching for god candidates. We are introduced to Yuri, who is being held by the government. She is an influencer and she has been placed into a witness protection program. The angels sneak into her isolation room and give her powers so she can finally escape. Yuri is granted the powers of wings along with a red arrow. With her new arrow power, she manages to take control of all the security guards and escape. Meanwhile, Mirai and Saki are under a lot of pressure as they are basically wanted worldwide. But eventually they run into Detective Hoshi, who works for the MPD. Mirai and Saki agree to work with the detectives from the Metropolitan Police Department. Their main mission is to find the rest of the god candidates so that the process can end without further panic or violence. They find one of the candidates called Shuji Nakami, who is a 12-year-old middle schooler. Him and his whole family wanted to end their life when he received his angel and red arrow. He then used the red arrow to make his family end their life. Yuri manages to find Mirai and Saki at their location. Now almost all the god candidates have been found. While the candidates and angels discuss who should be the next god, Yuri reveals that if she was god, everybody would be rich. Shuji, on the other hand, would make ending your own life a socially acceptable occurrence. The angels then reveal that the god candidate will have to spend thousands of years in the spirit world. Because of this revelation, the group agrees that Shuji might be the perfect candidate. The world's governments decide to follow the god candidates and they manage to track them down. All the candidates are seen flying, which helps the attack helicopters and soldiers to move into position. Their mission is to observe and attack the candidates if they start to be dangerous. The snipers finally move into position, and shortly after, the final god candidate suddenly reveals himself. The Nobel Prize winner, called Gaku Yonda, is the final god candidate. He is a university professor who is widely known as one of the smartest people in the whole world. The group is shocked by this revelation, and so are the people watching the broadcast. Gaku is a scientist and he truly believes that angels and God are just parasitic creatures that feed off human belief. He thinks that there should be no god candidate and that they should be stopped. Yuri is angry at this as she doesn't want to lose her powers. On the other hand, Shuji totally believes the professor's theory and he joins his team. The people all around the world also start believing Gaku and his theory about God. At that moment, Mirai says that he would gladly become God if it meant giving people hope. Nas is shocked as she thought Mirai only wanted to find his own personal happiness. Suzumu is being playful and approaches the snipers in a nearby building. They see him as a threat and a shot is fired and the soldiers manage to kill Suzumu. Mirai and the rest of the god candidates are shocked at what just happened. But Gaku Yonda uses his super speed and picks up Suzumu to absorb his powers. Shuji joins him and both of them fly away. Mirai, Saki and Yuri get help from Detective Hoshi and his partner. They are moved into a more secure location so that the government can't track them. They start talking about what happened to Suzumu and who should step up to be God from their group. They plan on how to stop Gaku and his plan. It is also revealed that Nas has a special power that is unique to only her. The other angels cannot interact directly with human objects, but Nas is able to. Mirai and Saki also agree that Hoshi and his partner will have to help them if things go wrong, so they give them powers. Mirai thinks that Gaku is planning something evil for the group. Elsewhere, we see Gaku and Shuji talk about their powers and eventually the final plan. Gaku is angry that he was chosen by the Angel of Destruction, but he still wants to stop the god process from being successful. Shuji only wants to end his life. Both of them decide to test their red arrow powers on people who want to take their own life. They experiment in all sorts of cruel ways. Gaku Yonda then makes his way to Japan's government building. He decides that he will use his power to take over the government. He uses his red arrows to get past security, and eventually arrives to the leader of the country and shoots him with a red arrow, telling him to find 14 of the most influential politicians to control. With this, Gaku manages to organize a meetup with the rest of the god candidates at a giant stadium. The governments of the world stay out of the conflict under Gaku's orders. Mirai, Saki and the rest of their group make their way to the stadium. Mirai senses that this might be a trap, so he warns his friends to stay alert. The god candidates are all finally at one place. Gaku reveals his grand plan to the group. His idea is to cause the deaths of all the god candidates so that a new god is newer selected. This would cause the whole process to end, and in his mind this would defeat the angels and God. His plan requires to kill Yuri, Mirai and Saki first. Then when only him and Shuji remain, they will use their white arrows on each other, killing themselves in the process. This would eliminate all the candidates at almost the exact same moment. Gaku explains that he has already tested this theory with other people willing to kill themselves. He is aware that there is a margin of error and the process needs to be perfect to succeed. Mirai gets angry and starts arguing with Gaku. Both of them try to find some sort of middle ground that doesn't require anyone to die. Gaku refuses and he thinks this is the only right solution. Mirai and Gaku tell the others to leave the stadium so they can finally finish this conflict once and for all. Mirai still wants to try to reason with Gaku and explain to him the situation. What Mirai doesn't realize is that this was all part of the plan. The three girls are attacked and tied up by Shuji. He points his white arrow at them and is prepared to attack at any moment. Gaku now tells Mirai that he will have to decide, and there is a great cost to his decision. Gaku believes that humanity is doomed and that people will one day destroy each other. He doesn't believe a god or humanity is useful. To him, the future is set and humans will find any way possible to doom the entire planet. He thinks people will try to transcend time and even try to find a way to be immortal. Gaku, now finished with his speech, gives Mirai an ultimatum. Either Mirai will give up on the idea of becoming God. If he refuses, Nakami will use a white arrow and kill Saki. Mirai gets angry, but he can't do anything at this moment. Gaku then presents the second ultimatum. Both Mirai and Gaku will launch white arrows at each other, and if Mirai tries to escape the arrow, Saki will be shot and killed. Mirai for a moment stands in silence, but his decision comes easy to him. He refuses to sacrifice Saki and he gives up. Mirai surrenders and prepares to be shot with the white arrow and die. Gaku Yonda is pleased and prepares to fire off the arrow. The white arrow is launched and directly impacts Mirai. He closes his eyes and accepts his fate. Suddenly, Nas flies in and carries Mirai away. By doing this, she breaks the most important angel rule, but Gaku isn't shocked as he knew that there was a possibility of this happening. Nas tries to carry Mirai away, but suddenly a dark orb traps her and her body starts turning into stone, falling apart. Slowly she is losing her rank, and soon her special angel rank is gone, causing Mirai to lose his powers too. Mirai loses his white arrow and wings, so now he has no protection from Gaku and his attacks. Saki and Yuri try to convince Shuji that he isn't ready to kill anyone. They both tell them they want to live. Shuji for a moment hesitates as he is now faced with a choice to kill someone who, unlike him, actually wants to keep living. The girls manage to get free and overpower him. They both go into battle to help Mirai. Yuri manages to actually sneak behind Gaku and she fires a white arrow at him. Saki flies to Mirai to protect him. In a shocking turn of events, Nas actually flies in and saves Gaku. Because of this act, Nas gets her special rank back. She is back to her full power again. Gaku is surprised by his life being saved by an angel and doesn't understand. But this causes a shift in his point of view. He realizes that he has been acting selfish and as a coward. He didn't think about anyone else's feelings. This makes him give up on his mission to kill the god candidates. Gaku finally realizes that there is still hope. The rest of the group now tries to decide who will become god. Again, they decide that Shuji Nakomi is the best candidate. He accepts the responsibility. He says his goodbyes and asks the group if they want to remember this experience. Yuri decides that she wants to forget, and Shuji leaves his red arrow with Gaku so that he can study it and learn more. He also promises to learn the secrets of the universe and try to find answers about the human condition. Shuji ascends and the group is left alone. Gaku promises to take care of Yuri while Mirai and Saki decide to begin their new life. Shuji finally arrives in heaven and meets the rest of the angels and God himself. God tells him he cannot die until they fuse together. Shuji finally becomes the new god. He now prepares to learn about the universe and try to make things better on Earth. Years pass, we see Mirai and Saki finish their education. They also become a true couple, now in love and together. Gaku and Yuri start working together in his lab. He is doing extensive research on the Red Arrow and the nature of the angels. Hoshi also becomes a police captain and is still working with his partner. Shuji Nakomi, now a fully powered god, is trying to understand the complex nature of the universe and human souls. He is struggling as he is overwhelmed with all the knowledge. As the new god, he is curious to how Nas became such a special angel. He finds out that when the original god first came to Earth, a small life form entered his body. When he took the life form out of him, it seemed to have an effect. That is how Nas was created, and it is the reason she is so special. Eventually, Mirai and Saki get married. They open their own flower shop. Mirai has finally achieved his goal and found true happiness. He and Saki live a peaceful and quiet life, and Gaku, who was previously cold and detached, now becomes more warm in his behavior. He even shows genuine joy when he receives flowers from Mirai and Saki. Shuji looks at his friends living their life. He sees them grow and become more happy. It seems that 6 years have passed in the human world. He is also looking at all the sadness and torment humans experience. He doesn't have a way to solve the problems and his mind is slowly breaking. Shuji discovers that God was not created to serve humans but was rather created by some unknown beings. This breaks him and he decides to end it all. When the angels leave his side for a moment, Shuji as God ends his own life by stabbing himself. With God dead, all reality stops existing, angels and humans alike. Gaku sees what is happening and is confused if his scientific theory was all wrong. But before he can find the answer, he disappears. Mirai and Saki say their final goodbyes as people and animals disappear all over the planet. While their time together was short, they found true happiness together. Mirai thanks Nas one final time. Then the Earth is turned into an empty and destroyed wasteland, and there is no more life anywhere. Mysterious lights from deep within space start to appear. Those unknown creatures seem to be the ones who created God. Their ultimate goal was for God to give them a true death. Disappointed by the failure, they plan to begin again with a new God seed. And this brings the anime to an end. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another video. Until next time, take care.